Hello. I want to welcome you to another exciting episode of Tent Reality. My name is Pastor Udo, and in our last episode, we began an exciting new topic: curfews. Some might have said, okay, I'm not sure about the word, maybe you're just coming out for the first time, but we took our time to explain what curfews are, the different types of curfews we have, the ones given from parents to children and the ones from government to citizens, all with the intention to keep them safe and ensure that they don't fall into danger. We also took our time to explain the fact that curfews are necessary, they are vital, and they are important for you as a teenager. That curfews put in place for you by your parents are a sign of their care. It is a proof that they want to see you grow up in a well-balanced manner. It also helps to teach you responsibility. It teaches you time management, self-control, and balance. The idea is to ensure that you have a stable life and that you don't go off course. Alright, now I'm going to be asking you a question today. What is real freedom? What is real freedom? Some teenagers response like that. For me, real freedom is when I can wake up whenever I wake up in the morning. Nobody tells me when to wake up. Nobody forces me to go to school. Nobody forces me to do my homework. Nobody forces me to do chores at home. For some others, real freedom is not having to be at home at a particular point in time. For some others, real freedom is even getting away from home. Remember, this is teen reality. Everyone's reality is not the same. How you define what's real freedom for you is not necessarily the same way another teenager may define real freedom for themselves. But the reality of what we're trying to teach today is this: curfews are vital and they are necessary. They are put in place to ensure that the freedom you truly desire, you are alive to experience it. If you are dead, can you really enjoy freedom? No. You'd be gone already. So those curfews put in place ensure that you do not lose your life easily. Because we're going to be looking at a video right now. You understand? In that video, you're going to be seeing about a teenager, just 13 years old, who was tragically killed because she decided to sleep out of her home during a curfew. Now just watch and see. When we come back, we'll discuss more about it.
Rob, this is a loss, the impact of which you can both feel and see. As you can see behind me here, family and friends have been gathering at the spot where that crash happened to pay their respects.
She will be missed deeply and dearly.
A mother coming to the spot where her daughter was killed overnight as she fights to handle her grief.
Oh, this is like so surreal because it hasn't sunken in.
Police say Savannah Gatchell was in the car with a 16-year-old boy when it crashed here on Atlantic Avenue just before 3 a.m. She was pronounced dead on the scene. The boy transported to a local hospital, now charged with operating under the influence. Savannah's mother explaining why her daughter was in the car.
I just know that my daughter was technically sneaking out, but I mean, teenagers, so I tried to stop her. They were going out for a ride. You know, these days, teenagers, what are you going to do?
The wall where they wrecked, now a memorial, as family and friends come to remember the teen who was about to begin the 8th grade.
She was outgoing, loving, had lots of friends, loving family. She was very helpful, a cheerful 13-year-old. She had a lot of life to live.
Those who didn't know Savannah hoping to find a lesson in her loss.
You know, it's such a small community and we just couldn't believe that such a terrible thing can happen. It's just such an incredible reminder of how quickly lives can change, even when you're in a small community that feels like where we feel we're so sheltered.
So you can see that a 13-year-old girl killed instantly. You know, surprisingly, the person she snuck out to go for that drive or go attend whatever event they went for only sustained injuries, but she died on the spot. You see the grief in the face of that, her mother narrating what happened. she snuck out of the house. How many of you have left home when your parents told you to stay at home? Did Savannah think that night she was going to die? I don't think so. She never knew, she never imagined it. As far as she was concerned, I'm still going to go out. Mom will not be happy, but when I come back, I'll deal with the situation. Savannah never came back. Before 3 a.m., she was pronounced dead. No hope of a return. Just 13 years old, and she was gone. And look at, she snuck out to go driving with a 16-year-old boy who was driving under the influence, meaning that he was intoxicated with alcohol, underage drinking. At that age, she was already associating with someone and going out on dates with someone who was far older than her. In fact, at that age, it's far too young to be dating or going out on such clandestine meetings. And now he was drinking. He was drinking, and he should never have been behind the wheel of a vehicle. He got into that vehicle, Savannah was there along with him, and she died on the spot. Just imagine if that's you. Imagine you're watching this right now, and you're planning tonight. Your parents have told you, be home by 7. You told them, oh, I have a party I've been invited to by 9. And they've told you, no, not this night. This is a school night. Even if it's a weekend night, they're like, you are not allowed to go. Sometimes you don't understand that sometimes parents have this feeling. They can know, especially your parents are Christians. And the Holy Spirit is the one telling them to tell you, don't be outside at this particular point in time. Anything can happen. And you make up your mind, I'm going. And you leave, and this is what happens. You end up dead. Is that the real freedom you're looking for? Is that what you want to happen to you? Because the only thing that will happen now is that the mother will be consoled. People will try to comfort her. But that girl is gone. Think of the 16-year-old boy left behind, the guilt that will be with him for the remainder of his life. He will probably have to pay either some fines or serve some jail time. I don't know how they're going to do it. But the most important thing is the consciousness, the knowledge that this young girl died because of me will follow him for the rest of his life. Curfews will not limit your freedom. They will keep you safe. They will ensure that you do not die before the time God has ordained that you are to leave this world. I want us to look at something. Now, it says why curfews help and are vital. It says being led can be good for you. Being led by your parents, them telling you what to do. Being protected is a sign of love, not necessarily being controlling. Being protected is a sign of love, not necessarily being controlling. And it's important that you understand this. Now, what happens? Some of you might say to yourself, okay, as parents, because I want to address this aspect to you as parents. Now, you're dealing with your teenager, you set curfews. And over again, you're seeing your teenager break those curfews. What do you do in that situation? Because it's so easy to become frustrated and think, okay, I'm tired. Let her do what she wants to do. Let him do what she wants to do. But I'm certain that after seeing that video we just watched right now, that's not going to be your mindset any longer. You do not want your daughter or your son to end up dead because you failed to pay continued attention due to how that maybe they've been taking your instructions or the curfews you've been setting for granted. You certainly don't want that for yourself. You don't want to have to think of conducting a funeral for someone who should one day conduct a funeral for you decades down the line. Now, if you have teenagers whom you've placed curfews on, now depending on the kind of teenagers you have, their age range, I'll tell you what happens if they miss it. We recommend that the consequence be time limited and task oriented. Examples of this might be that Jessica cannot go out with her friends the next time, or that she will have an earlier curfew until she comes home on time for 1 week. So you can decide either to bring forward the time of the curfew, make it even earlier. So they begin to appreciate the fact that You were quite generous in giving them a later time at the first place. I made mention of the fact that a part of a machinery that goes missing, you understand, shows its importance when it's no longer there. So when they begin to realize that something that they took for granted has been taken away or reduced, they begin to appreciate its value more in their life. So it is time limited and task oriented. You can ground them. You can make them know, okay, they're no longer allowed to have certain privileges. It is not a crime to take away certain privileges from your kids, especially things you know that, oh, they feel like they cannot do without. Let them know there are consequences to their actions, to the wrong choices that they make. When they break the rules, there are prices to be paid for it. Next, it says, it is also a chance to teach the importance of adhering to family rules. It's a chance, as well as demonstrating reliability in sticking to agreed times. For 15-year-olds, a good starting point might be between 8 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. on school nights, with slightly later times allowed on weekends, depending on individual circumstances. Now, what do we mean by individual circumstances? Now, your parents are allowed to choose based on where you are, your location, the environment. If you're in a dangerous place, they're allowed to make your time to be at home even earlier, to avoid you falling into the hands of the wrong person and encountering danger that could have been avoided easily. So remember that it can be brought forward and they now have the right to adjust it accordingly. If for any reason you have issues with the timing, please speak to your parents. Don't just act out and flaunt those timings. Instead, show the father they can depend and trust on you to be home on time, to respect the curfew set, and to trust that it is the best for you. Alright, we're going to go on a quick break, and when we return, we will continue. This is the Teens Reality, and this is Life Changers TV. If you've not subscribed, liked, or followed, we urge you to do so and enjoy the uplifting, entertaining, inspiring content that is available to you on a daily basis. Feel free to reach us on the number +234 813 9292708. Send an email to teensreality@lifechangerstouch.org. Stay tuned. Hello, I want to welcome each and every one of you to the maiden edition of Teens Reality TV show. I am your host, Pastor Udo. Our vision is to create a new brand of teenagers who can get to understand who they are, who they were created to be by God, and helping them navigate this life easily by His help. It is so important. Alright, welcome back from that quick break. Thank you for staying tuned. So we're discussing how important it is to appreciate the fact that those curfews are to your benefits. You don't want to lose your life the way Savannah did hers and end up having to pay for it. You don't want to have your parents go through that pressure or suffer the grief of knowing that they lost you when they could have had you for a longer time with them. Let me give you a short story. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to deal with a teenager. It just happened because it pays to listen also to what your parents tell you, to what guardians tell, because anything can happen. Now, I remember reading a book, and in this book there was a young lady. She had just gotten into college, so she was still basically a teenager, 18, 19. She had gotten into college in her first year, and now she had a part-time job off campus. So when she was done with classes, she would go to the job. She was working at a diner, like what you call a cafe, serving coffee and snacks. Now, on this particular day, she had her personal car, but now her car was undergoing repairs in the shop. So she used a bus to get to the job on this particular day. After work was done, a customer that had stayed late asked her if he could give her a ride back to campus. That's to her school. And she was like, no pressures. I'll go myself. He said okay, and he left because like it's not safe for a young lady to be out at that time. It's dangerous. Anything can happen. But she insisted, I'll go by myself. He left. Her employer was done and was run up like, oh, I saw that you didn't come with your car today. Let me give you a ride back to school. She still insisted, no, I will go by myself. So they locked up. The employer told her, okay, she can go. And she left. Now she was on her way going back to school. She had taken the bus and now was the period where she will have to walk some distance to the school. A car passed by her the first time, then drove back and then asked for directions. She gave directions and the car drove off. A few minutes after, she was walking and now she was approaching where the area was kind of dark near some bushes, you understand? And suddenly she was grabbed and she was raped. It turned out that the person who raped her was the person who was in that vehicle who had asked for directions. The person just actually drove forward and went to wait at a location where he felt he could attack her without any issues. So now she's raped, the person gets away, she ends up with that kind of issue. And now, what comes to mind is that she could have prevented it. She had 2 offers that night to get a ride home that would have kept her out of that dangerous situation. But she ignored it. There are sometimes you find yourself in such situations and you think, let me just do things my own way. She ended up getting pregnant after that incident. That's what happened. How many of you right now are going through such realities because of a moment of stubbornness, because of a moment of pride, because of a moment of self-will? You refuse to listen. You refuse to think about the fact that your life is not just about you. That there is a defined place God is taking you to. And that unless you're willing to trust Him and allow Him direct you, through the help of the parents He has given to you first of all, then you are bound to make mistakes. What also now happens when you tell yourself, I can do what I want, move with who I want to move with? You're falling with the wrong crowd. We made mention of the kind of one of our previous episodes of the kind of teenagers that are going to be raised when parents don't supervise them. Mannerless youths, disrespectful youths, people who have no drive, who have no purpose. You understand? They are unable to take care of themselves. And they end up becoming a burden, both financially, physically, and mentally on their parents. That's what happens when you have teenagers who think they can do what they want and get away with it. There are sometimes it looks like you've gotten away with some of the time. You keep on telling yourself, okay, I got away with it this time. I can keep doing it. But eventually one day it catches up to you in a way you never expected. And what is left is pain, unimaginable pain. I want us now to watch another video and see what happens when you think that there are no need for curfews in your life, and what happens. Because after watching this video, you will see why curfews needed to be placed for this particular group of teenagers after what they did to another teenager. Do watch this now.
The teens who allegedly took part in an on-camera brutal beatdown of a 15-year-old girl in Brooklyn will stay free while they await trial on their charges, but must abide by an after-school curfew. 17 defendants who range in the age from 14 to 17 years old were arraigned on a criminal complaint on Monday that includes charges of second-degree robbery and gang assault. They all pleaded not guilty. A total of 11 youths have been charged in connection with the savage sidewalk stomping, of whom 4 have had their cases transferred to family court. The group that appeared before Brooklyn Supreme Court Justice Ruth Shillingford included a 14-year-old boy who allegedly ran off with the victim's Air Jordans as she lay helpless on the concrete. Prosecutors initially asked for a $10,000 bail for each of the suspects, but the judge declined that on Saturday. Under their curfews, the criminals are required to go straight home after school when it ends at 3 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. The mob beatdown is believed to be in retaliation for an earlier fight Friday in which the victim supposedly beat down another female student. However, her friends dispute that. They describe her as a quiet basketball player. Because of their actions, I tend to believe the friends over the mob. Because, some of these guys didn't even know each other. That's that mob mentality. They see somebody doing something, they think it's cool, Especially, like a lot of mobs, man, when mobs have bully mentalities. And a lot of times, for some reason, it's attractive to people when they see other people getting bullied.
All right, welcome back. Many of you saw that for yourself. 17 teenagers all ganged up on just one teenage girl. Imagine. And as I said, it's clear that some of them probably didn't even know who that girl was. Some would have just been passing by like, oh, what's happening? I just joined in. He said 11 have been arrested so far and arraigned. 4 have been switched to the family courts. And all pleaded not guilty, even despite the video evidence we saw displayed right there. It didn't look like they were dancing hip hop there. That was actual violence, gang violence. So parents who are watching right now and who think your supervision is not necessary, this is what can happen when you don't supervise your kids, when you don't know where they are going after school, when you don't know the kind of friends they're hanging out with. It's kind of mob violence. To go with the gangs. So that even those who might not have even planned to be there or willingly wanted to assault that young lady ended up doing it to just feel part of the crowd. So even as parents, even as you set those curfews, ensure that you observe what your kids are doing whenever they are outside the home. Who they are hanging out with, who they are spending quality time. Because who they spend quality time with will determine the kind of people they will become over the future. Over the future, you'll be able to see who they are turning out to be. Who they've been giving credence, who they've been listening to. It's even more painful when you now have a teenager who engages in such violence and who does not feel guilty after it. In fact, it became so bad that it was the court that had to now impose the curfew for them. That these particular kids, until we were done with this trial, they had to be home immediately school was done. Immediately school was done, the court had to impose these curfews themselves. Because they were no longer trusted. If one kid going from school to the home was no longer safe, being attacked by other teenagers, other students, then what is the world turning into today? As a teenager, what is the reality going to be like? For those who are being bullied, for those who are being beat down. Curfews that they might have they took for granted, now imposed. And this one now, if they break this, more fines, more jail time. Whether it's in juvie or in adult prison. Curfews are for your benefits, dear teens. They are vital. They keep you from danger. They ensure that you will not be in the wrong place at the wrong time and end up harming yourself beyond repair. There are some things that sorry is not enough. Or I wish I had known, if only I knew, if someone had told me, if I could just go back. There are no second takes in life for certain decisions. Can God help you rebuild? Yes. But God would rather that you do enter into some mistakes that could have been avoided if you simply chose to listen in the first place and accept what He wanted to do. That plan for you, what you want to see achieved in your own life. Believe it, accept Him, and don't make a mistake. Don't make a mistake. Today, I want you to cast your mind back now and begin to reflect on what more you can do to ensure that you respect your parents. You value the quality time they spend with you to teach you, to instill values, to instill the right kind of character. Many times when they tell you to come home early, it's because they want to spend time with you, a time of bonding. And those times, appreciate it, because those times you can begin to air your minds, air your grievances if need be. I've told you not to hold back. Especially when you're in a situation where you've experienced some kind of trauma or issues. Don't bottle it all up. Share it with your parents, share it with your family members, with those who love you. So that you don't keep it deep on the inside and then you now go outside seeking external help from the wrong sources, who now begin to advise you in the wrong way and encourage you to disobey the rules that have been put in place to ensure your safety and well-being. Because many times, some of those dangerous friends don't start out being dangerous. They start out as caring friends. They start out as those who were paid, gave a listening ear, who seemed to care about you when no one cared. Who over time developed a bond with you so that you now feel obligated to stay with them despite the wrong things they are now telling you to do. It didn't seem so bad at the beginning, but right now, they are no longer teaching or allowing you to do what in all good conscience your parents will approve of, your teachers will approve of, or even you yourself will approve of. You've gotten to the point where you are slowly killing your conscience, accepting what is wrong as right, and telling yourself it doesn't matter. You must not allow this to continue. It's time to step back and tell yourself, I will willingly accept the supervision my parents are giving me. I will willingly accept it. And I will appreciate the fact that while I have this now, while I have their care, while I have their attention, I will make the best use of it. I will become whom I'm supposed to be, as God desires for me to be. Thank you for staying tuned with us today. A lot has been said. I want to encourage you. You have a bright and promising future ahead of you. Your parents know this too, and they want to be sure that you don't lose out on that wonderful future. So work together with them and ensure that you get to become who God has made you to be. Remember, we want to hear from you. Your comments, your opinions, even questions you have to ask. If you want to share videos or audio recordings, feel free to send them to +234 813 929 2708 or send an email to teensreality@lifechangerstouch.org. Thank you for staying tuned. I've enjoyed this time with you and I look forward to seeing you when we come back on our next episode. Till I come your way next time, I remain your lovely host, Pastor Udo Mobi.